find him. Look.
I go
I have chain. Middle left.
I think it's in.
Just hit anyone, guys.
Go. Kill them all. Go.
Apotheosis is coming in, he's trying to heal as much as he possibly can, but Patrick is tearing through the entire team. Neela finally unleashed on the backside. Jackie's doing work on Frescowie and Giant X.
Welcome back to the LEC. We have Jackie's for the interview. Congratulations on your win, a very important one to secure indeed. I want to start off with that game. It was a little slow to start things off with, but there was a point where you figured out where if you just run head straight into MDK, you could actually beat them. What was that point?
I think it was the one around Nash when we realized that if we find Fiddlesticks, that their team kind of falls off, because I think it was the main champ in the game that can actually do something. So the second I found him and we won the fight, then I realized, oh, I can just run around the map and find him. And yeah, that was a kind of the Nash fight. I don't know the minute, but that one, yeah.
Okay, well, talking about you engaging on some of these fights, it's that aggression that we've seen from you. We've seen a lot from it in the first couple of games that you've played. It then came through as feedback that potentially maybe as a rookie you're too over-aggressive every now and then. We can definitely tell that you've worked on that. So what's been going on behind the scenes? What have you implemented to actually just step back a little sometimes?
I mean, it's mainly about like being decisive, when to actually go and not. Because I think one of our issues was like being hesitant, and then I didn't really know if going in is good or bad.
Okay.
But here, this game, I wasn't even sure if sometimes it's good. I just wanted to be like, okay, I want to go in no matter what. And this game it worked out, so maybe I'll just do it every game.
Okay, maybe, but looking as well at as the team, as a collective, I guess these decisions are made together in terms of whether or not to go in. You're setting it yourself as well, sometimes a little bit more decisive, sometimes not. What has the atmosphere been like as a team? Because we still have one more game, we'll get into that later, but right now you just need that one game to actually qualify for players. You're so close.
Yeah, tomorrow game is for sure important, right? I think it's the pressure match, the hype match for a bit. But yeah, we are feeling confident. I think we are learning fast in the practice. So yeah, I think we are for sure ready for tomorrow, and we will win.
Is there, okay, you think you're on? That was gonna be my next question. No, you think, is there any, closing remarks that you want to give on this one? But I think as well, going into that pressure match, as you said it yourself, as a team, as 5 people, you told me earlier before the interview started that you are comfortable with these pressure matches. When it comes to the other team members and just the coaching staff in general, are you all that comfortable, or is it more like an individual basis and then you will see the players around?
I think there is no one on our team that like struggles in pressure matches. Of course, I have an experienced roster, right? Like I have Igna, Rodo, Patrick. Like they are in the scene for a long time. They played a lot of the matches, so I think we are all good under pressure, and we will prove it tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. We're going to be tossing back to the analyst desk, so let's head over there. Thank you so much for the interview. Laure,
Thank you.
Take it away.
Thank you, Ginny, and thank you, Jackie's, of course. One step closer of looking playoff, but everything is going to be decided tomorrow in the match GX has against Rogue. What did we think of this game, though, in terms of improvement? We did the draft at the desk. We expected a heavy dive composition on the side of Matt Lensko. It didn't land that well. Treatz, any idea on why it didn't work?
Jackie said it himself. They kind of figured out in mid-game. If they find the Fiddlesticks, mark him down. The team fights for MDK become really tricky because their entire comp kind of relies on Fiddle and Nocturne diving at the same time, and they couldn't really find that because GX figured it out in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's where it became really tricky for MDK in general. It kind of shows their inexperience as well, because there was a lot of times where the flank was super obvious, where they were just hovering around the bush around Baron, where you should have gone further back as well. But GX really came together in the late game where they started marking the Fiddlesticks as talked about, and as soon as he's caught out of position, there's not a lot to do. The entire way this pick works is the surprise factor that comes out of it, and if you suddenly just catches him around in the own jungle, well, there's not much he can do in that situation.
And also the comp of MDK kind of has to go all at one go. If they kind of space out their engage, they're not going to have a lot of damage. They have a lot of burst target, kind of AoE, with the Fiddlesticks, Nocturne, and Kai'Sa jumping in, but if they can't get that going, their comp kind of has no juice left, and GX found the better engages in almost all of the mid-game fights.
Want to break down a bit the Fiddlesticks? I wish we had the man himself to talk us through it, but why did we think of this champion in the sense that I feel like for months, and I remember Worlds especially, players were looking for ways to counter Rumble. It worked well in lane, I feel, but it feels like
this is so
yeah.
OP because he's getting extra drained from the 2 LeBlancs now on the map,
was
there,
crazy,
so he's
man.
actually holding it up really well there. And I think this is the example you talked about, Treatz, where everyone's going in. You start with a Neeko ultimate, you have the Fiddlesticks layered up on top of it, and they did find a lot of good ultimates. I think this one particular was amazing.
Yeah, this one was amazing. He came on the flank, they saw him coming behind them, but there's kind of no counter to Nocturne. Yeah, as you see here from Patrick's POV, there's the Fiddlesticks, there's everyone.
Oh, well, I guess I'm dead, guys.
Yeah, that's a lot of counterplay there for sure. So, I mean, it kind of worked out, I would say. I think Merwin did his job quite well, but I think GX as a team just played better at kind of understanding the team fights than MDK.
Yeah, shout out to Vedius as well, who linked a tweet from Mervin as well in our chat while we were working as well, because Mervin actually had a PowerPoint with this Fiddlestick champion specifically into Rumble, how the matchup worked. I'm sure someone can find it, or you can find it yourself on social media. But it was just really fun to see that in the past, in 2023, he had made a PowerPoint of Fiddlesticks into Rumble specifically, paired up with Nocturne specifically, where you want your wards, where you want the flanks to come through. Sadly, maybe that PowerPoint should have studied even further because they couldn't take it all the way. But it's just very interesting to see that a unique pick like this has so much foundation behind it.
And I feel like it's interesting to see that Giant X took things a bit further this time, in the sense that we saw them having good early games usually, but it's in the mid game that things crumble from time to time. But they kept the pace running here, and they stayed in the driver's seat, which is surprising when you look at the aggression that Mad Lions has been throwing at other teams so far.
Yeah, it looked like they kind of had a clear idea coming into this game, how they want to play the mid game. A lot of the times, as you said, I think they've had good fights, they've had bad fights, but it didn't really look like they were in control. But now in this mid game, it actually felt like they were in control and kind of had the pace of the game figured out for themselves, and that's a big progress, I would say, coming into this game. And then also next game against Rogue, I think they will have to replicate it, obviously, to make it to playoffs.
I really agree, because one of the game that stands out to me specifically with GX, where a lot of their mid-game struggles showed, was the matchup against BDS, where they had a Neeko, where they had the Cassandre to play around, and all they really needed to do was find a Neeko ultimate on 380 carries almost on the enemy team to make that work. But it became really difficult for them again and again to set up a fight properly, to find a flank position for Jackies, what his role needed to be in it as well. But that was not the case today. Jackies was really good at finding the kind of scouting enemy Neeko and enemy Fiddlesticks, had a lot of agency on a champion like LeBlanc, played it AP, thank God we didn't have to watch it AD as well, and just a lot of the growth that we're talking about we're seeing, which is exactly what you need when you're going up against Rogue tomorrow in that mega important match.
We talked about most of the players, but not the player of the game, unfortunately. Kia, player of the game here. It's Peach! We have to adore him, I feel like, but there's been an improvement on this
He was the
setup.
unsung hero for sure.
Absolutely.
He really was. We've talked about tracking the Fiddlestick, but also making sure that his allied had enough space in team fights, and I feel like he played his role perfectly here.
Yeah, he did. I think it's kind of the consistent performance you need from someone like Peach. I think he's also had, like Giant X, as a team, kind of up and downs. This game he was very solid, and I think, as you said, I think kind of more important than the win today is the confidence that it brings for tomorrow. With the win, they're obviously not locked. They have to win tomorrow to make it to playoffs. So I think the confidence boost is what they need as a team. And kind of, look, guys, we can actually play a good mid game where it's kind of clean and kind of has a clear direction.
They have at least one tiebreaker, because they won today. Rogue lost
Today, so if they win tomorrow, there's no tiebreaker.
If they win tomorrow, they're locked. But if they lose, they have at least one tiebreaker. So I think that's the kind of situation.
Just to clarify the rules, we only have one tiebreaker scenario, and that's when you play for the 8th. The other groups does not have one, so that is why there might potentially be one today.
Thank you, GB.
Oh, tomorrow, not today, tomorrow.
Looking at both teams, though, I would say GX looks in better shape at least, but we know that a lot of things can change on the day with the draft and the mindset that players are going to be in.
I was going to say the same thing, because I'm actually a bit worried for Rogue going into tomorrow's matchup, because if you have a look at Rogue's team composition today that they had earlier, where they played the early game, where it kind of worked for them, but then again, like not even mid-game, but like straight after 14 minutes, it slows down again. It becomes hard for them to look for plays, and they're relying on lasting in the late game for a champion like Corki, where you're just not set directly up for success with it. You go up against a team like GX today, where it's too much back and forth. It's not clean, don't get me wrong, but it's still looking better in team fights and more coordinated than Rogue was.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, I think Rogue kind of haven't found their footing. They had a solid start today, but I felt like they kind of ran out of energy in the mid game. I think that's what I like seeing from Giant X today. They had a lot of energy coming into mid game, and they were very active. So it's nice to see a team that was kind of struggling before actually go for these aggressive plays and kind of figure out the game as they play, and not just kind of sit back and hope for the best, so to say.
To be continued tomorrow. But let's get into our final game of the day, Karmine Corp versus SK Gaming.
Thank you very much, Laure. And what a game it's going to be.
Can we break another game record? We will our game time record, kill record. Can we break a record with this? We'll have
All
to
the
find
records.
out. Could be Casey's first win, but it's a tall task because SK up there near the top of the standings. I think fighting G2 tomorrow to see who will secure and lock top 2. So a lot of pressure on this team to go as far as they can. Again, if you're top 2, you get the luxury of picking from anyone from 5 to 8. Like, we'll get into it as we get deeper. You get to pick your opponent. It's going to be great. But for now, let's get to the walkouts. KC, of course, eliminated from playoffs contention. But that doesn't mean they can't mess up somebody else's day.
Karmine Corp, I mean, look, I just really want them to be able to kind of show what this roster could have been capable of. I think a lot of people had very high expectations for this team. We just haven't quite got to see it. But going up against SK, I mean, personally, SK is the team I'm most excited about. Like, to see them go from picking up Nisqy, having Isma come in, a super cool mid-jungle, and then also getting to see DOS starting to roam around the map more, linking up more with Isma. This is just a very exciting time to be an SK fan.
I think so as well, and I gotta say, Exakick gets credit for being the first Lucian to win, and Lucian is obviously the side of the Lucian duos that I focus more on, but DOS played a great game on Nami yesterday. We'll see if it eats a ban today. First team to really successfully execute around that short-range AD carry. Fnatic showed signs of life with it earlier today, but weren't really able to fully convert that into a win. I want to see what the draft strategy is going to be. KC, you know, note there's no pressure. I think there is pressure because you want to find a win, because it'd be really embarrassing not to get one, but there's no pressure from a result standpoint. No matter what you do, you're not going to make it further. So, do they get crazy?
I was going to say, like, what does crazy look like for this team?
Yeah, we
that
played
scares me.
jungle yesterday. So, like, how Maokai jungle, ooh.
Oh, spicy, yeah.
They banned Lucian.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right, well, respect to upset there, I suppose. Ballista as well, okay. What are we playing bot? If Karmine Corp don't ban, are we going to play Sen of Seraphine game? This is about to happen right now. We're about to play Sen of
It's going to be a Seraphine.
Oh,
well,
we're about to play Sen of Seraphine.
The thing is, in Cup, so Targamas is a big Senna player. There,
You have to ban Targamas' Senna. Like, whatever else has happened with KC, you have to ban Targamas' Senna, for sure.
Yeah. But then the question is, like, do you just go for Aphelios on first pick? Rumble actually going to be the pick here. Because I was going to say you could take, like, Milio across here as well if you want to do for DOS.
I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm kind of questionable they picked Rumble with Fiddlesticks up and available.
That is true.
It's suspicious. Udyr also on the board. Obviously, one of the international, conventional counter picks into the matchup. Or at least reliable picks into the matchup.
Yeah, we haven't seen Irrelevant bring it out yet, but could very well start to bring that one out. Has kind of fallen back towards things like the Renekton when the Jax is banned away, but I don't know if that's what you want against them.
And there are a lot of unsung heroes in yesterday's SK victory. We talked about DOS already. Irrelevant is the other big one. Surviving that dive on the top side, allowing his bot side to get so much more in terms of resources and gank support was a big reason why SK were able to pull ahead. So want to see what he can do here up against Cabo on such a dominant meta pick like the Rumble. But for now, SK Gaming, just kind of some stock standard tools. Rell is, of course, a flex. Varus technically a flex, but I don't think we'll see it here.
I like how Mirwin is just adding every technicality to the draft.
Really? Mirwin's doing a 2019 G2 by himself right now, which is very impressive.
So I think it's Isma going to be piloting the Rell. Can flex into the bot side, but I think it will be just the case. But Xayah coming in.
I like this. I think Xayah looked really good yesterday. Didn't get to see it as much today, obviously, but in general, really powerful duo. And a lot of individual playmaking agency for Targamas and a lot of individual protection for Upset. They don't have to rely on each other 100%. They can kind of split up as they need to, which is a good position to be in, I think.
And it also gives you a lot of control over bot lane, pushing lanes very much in demand at the moment, but also a lot of self-sufficiency, right, where you're able to have that ult from Xayah. So a lot of that backline dive that you're looking at with things like a Nautilus or a Rell that have already been shown, definitely going to be looking pretty good here. So I think the dive already for SK should have answers. It's just a question of how you want to try and continue to roll this out. I think for someone like Bo, you want to try and get rid of the junglers like the Xin Zhao, maybe Brand. I don't know if you're as worried about a Brand with the amount of engage that you have on SK Gaming.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say how worried people are about the Brand jungle. Obviously, it didn't win yesterday, had some good moments, but wasn't able to do a ton. The Graves is going to get banned away, very often banned against Bo. Now Orianna, they're taking away some of the control mage options. You have a really stable core on the side of SK Gaming. I feel like you can really put anything with these three champions and make a composition. Varus, of course, has the luxury of building whatever the hell he wants, whether it's poke or on hit will depend on what the rest of the composition looks like, what they need here.
Yeah, I think it's more leaving Irrelevant to see what he wants to go for counter pick.
Yeah.
I'm curious what he wants to try and bring out. Like we've seen the Rumble, Gwen, Jax, and Renekton. None of them kind of work particularly well into the Rumble, so could easily be the Udyr fallback. Other side though, it's more of a case of like, okay, well, what does Saken want to blind pick? Because immediately you're like, well, Nisqy's just going to get counter pick here anyway, because you already know what the top side is. So unless they are very high priority on get Saken off the Azir, which is probably going to be his pick here.
Okay, I'm sorry, Rob, I keep doing this to you. Bo has also played Rumble Jungle. It is also technically a flex.
That is fair.
I don't think he'll do it on stage, but I thought the same thing about Brand, and I was wrong yesterday. So I'm sorry. Everything's a flex. It's a great time for the meta. But you got Aatrox, which I think, in general, not nearly as safe, I would say, as a Renekton in terms of the potential to turn around these tower dives, survive in a lot of scenarios, but certainly more explosive, more potential power to come out.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that can survive a little bit easier. You got the little poke to try and answer back. But I think the big one is that, again, you're just going to try and play for a heavy control over this bot side, and Irrelevant usually does fine in the one-on-one, so curious to see if you'll be able to keep that one up. Neeko on the opposite side, going to be taken up here. And then again, I think it's just, well, I was going to say, now what does Bo decide to go for? Don't think you can go for a Brand with this much AP, so going to instead step back over towards the Xin Zhao, which I think is a pretty nice pickup here, where you can try and play for a very strong mid-jungle here.
This is a great comp from KC.
Yeah.
It does everything. Good split of damage, good team fight setup. Side lane's maybe not so strong, but you've got great engage, you've got great team fight. Feels much more simple and straightforward than a lot of the comps we saw them draft earlier this season. Certainly than what we saw yesterday.
I mean, the problem for me is never so much the drafts. It's kind of Karmine Corp just getting to a position where they actually are functioning as a group. Now, this is definitely one that can do a lot of that. Okay, I like this for Nisqy.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, when you look at it, Xayah, Rumble, Xin, Neeko, if you're not finding a creative flank angle or really opening up with Targamas there, you can be pretty short range. Wind becomes lightning obviously makes that easier, but Varus, Corki, Varus, words, poke is tough to deal with.
The Vorkey is going to be insane in this game. Absolutely insane. But I do think the...
Don't Google that.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a huge amount of like Nisqy trying to stay safe in the mid lane, because for Karmine Corp, I think you have a massive amount of potential play for the 2v2 in mid lane with the amount of CC and setup that you have.
Yeah, sure.
And then try and lean that into bot side, which I imagine is going to be the play. But as you say with the package, it's insane. As you like go in for this 4-man, 5-man group that is going to be there on Karmine Corp, having that package across several people, even the chains of corruption that's been set up for that Isma, the combos are very real here in this matchup.
Yeah. SK have been pretty consistent on executing well in these team fights. Clear calls, clear comms. Hope the KC, clear hearts, young hearts run free. Man's dreams never dies. Nisqy's dream to beat KC. KC's dream to beat Nisqy.
There was a man dreaming on screen as well there. It's beautiful.
Sometimes you have to remember what your dreams are. You just take a little nap and find out.
Or you just see Corki and you take a nap.
And you know what? Again, you know, shout out to the KC fans. You're still here. You're still cheering. And I love that, guys. That's awesome. That's true passion. That's true fandom. Thick or thin.
Chedorsa.
Huh?
We already know where our French is.
Hey, I got like 3 people doing Let's Go Drakos. I love you guys. It is game 5 for me. Which you might think is similar to a best of 5, but most best of 5s don't have multiple 50-minute games in them, so bear with me. I'm going to say words wrong this game. Many words wrong. Some of them may be inappropriate, and I apologize in advance for that lack of professionalism.
Yeah. The brain goes fuzzy after game 4.
The brain
just
goes
never really
fuzzy. Yeah, fuzzy's a great word. Oh, okay.
I'm actually surprised to see Irrelevant not go for Arcane Commas. I've seen it quite a bit into this matchup specifically because it's like, hey, a lot of it is going to be poke. Even Cabo, you can see going for the Arcane Common himself.
Yeah,
and you try and out-duel essentially with the poke.
Yeah, it can always be a little bit tricky, I think. But I see what you're saying there. Conqueror does seem pretty difficult to proc reliably. But if you're in a situation where Cabo mistimes or overcommits, you know, overheats at the wrong time, being able to full commit with Conqueror is going to feel really good. So we'll see how it works out for Irrelevant. Of course, Hail Blade's on the bottom side for Exakick. That does most likely mean lethality. So really just trying to poke, really just trying to leverage the range advantage that SK can bring to the table.
And I think you said it right. Corki poke, Varus poke. Shush you. Shush you.
Were you going to say Borky by any chance? That's the combo. That's the name of the combo. That's it. We've named it. We've decided. It's like pure happenstance. It's the Borky
like
combo.
Katie Brooker. Like the word doesn't exist. I'm afraid what the meaning will be given to it.
That's
but
fine.
sure. Yeah.
I think you mean Rain at Kukern. But yes, I'm with you.
Of course, yeah.
Here we are. Okay, bit of early trading.
With it.
Bone plating getting burned up there by DOS. Targamas also fine. Not going to amount to too much. No big leads quite yet. Irrelevant, as expected, is going to struggle here in the first few levels. Got the pleasure of learning a lot about Aatrox when Cadril was desperately attempting to one-trick it. You need a few levels. It's all about when your queue is up and you can trade. Once you get a few more levels with the belt, level 7 especially, things start to feel a lot better, or if you can get some early ability haste. But Isma's still here on the top side. Irrelevant. Q3. Might have to wait for the Q cooldown to come back up now.
Cabo has to know there was pings on him not entering into the bot side.
Red buff here. Walk in, fish for the stun, immediately go for the follow-up. Irrelevant now ready to go. Did he go for the dash or did he go for the chains? But Cabo just wants to turn this one back, just burning him down. Look at that rumble damage! Cabochard! Left this, yes! The case, this is what they wanted from Cabo! Turn and burn, gets the 1-for-1.
And the wave crashed. So Irrelevant going to lose out a little bit of CS there, but I want to point out just this ward that was over here spotted out that Isma wasn't on the top side, so Cabochard knew. He was like, look, I'm just going to be able to deal the damage that I need. The ignite, the overheat, the auto attack damage. It is beautiful from Cabo. It should have backed away at this stage. Would have been a big thumbs up, but now it's a bit of a side.
There's a red buff Rell who might get her cooldown.
Oh,
back.
wait a sec.
On the bottom side, Exakick now going to be in trouble. Targamas, blinking health bar. DOS goes in and he's going to finish the job. That Ignite's doing work. Another kill going down. DOS firing back. Exakick gets to stick around.
Targamas was, I think, yeah, it's just one minion off the hitting 3. Oof. If Upset had actually killed that minion quick enough, he would have been able to survive, but couldn't quite get the damage down. Nice job by DOS.
Bo coming back to the top side. And I had more to say about that earlier play, but there's just so much happening. We're not going to get the opportunity. Irrelevant. Playing with walking face first. 1, 2, 3. The knockup not quite going to come through. Irrelevant flashing out just in time. 1Q is going to connect. Not quite enough to guarantee the pullback as Bo was already on the edge.
Still though, great start here for Karmine Corp. The fact that, look, Targamas did go down on bot side, but it's a kill going across the DOS. You still get the wave pushed in. Yep. So you actually end up losing out here as Exakick when it comes to CS and also the experience. So at the moment with the control on the top side, this is where Karmine Corp want to be. But the thing is, Karmine Corp do tend to have decent early games with Bo being able to facilitate a lot of that. It's when it gets to pushing those leads
transition
that it comes back to being an issue.
Yeah, so don't get overexcited. It's a positive start for now. We'll see what Upset's back looks like. Double longsword, refillable, not bad for Exakick. Certainly would have liked to have a Dirk, but the biggest problem I have with Xayah in the meta, especially with early backs, is it's like you're getting Noon Quiver, which isn't a highly impactful item in terms of early trading. Whereas if Varus is able to back on serrated Dirk, which he luckily isn't, he could just do so much more work on those early trades.
Yeah, the back here though does mean that with the boots, yeah, you'll be able to push the wave pretty effectively. Like use your W in your, your W to get some of the feathers down in the wave, try and push out against Exakick in a lot of situations. So I think that's where you're going to be in a relatively okay spot. Even having the boots as well for if Isma tries to come down to the spot lane, you have to dodge some of the spells or even dodge some of the Qs that are coming from Exakick would be nice.
Will be nice to have. And Boots 2 always is going to feel good in a matchup like this. The ability to outspace your opponent, release to space a little bit easier, not get caught up in these trades, especially against a Halo Blades Varus, right? You don't just want to trade autos. He's going to get 3 if you commit for 2, and that's just always going to make things a bit tricky. He also can proc the Blight stacks. You can see Upset has been a long-time student in the early Boots 2 purchasing angle. Your autos don't hit as hard, but it's just so much easier to play the lane.
I think as well, it's just, as you say,
yeah, look at this. You can just dodge the piercing here, right? Movement speed matters so much in that matchup. But Bo and Cabo now setting up. Rell positioning himself behind the tower, so an easy alt angle for Cabo, and Rell just gets burned down. Cabo still tanking is crucial as Bo does get brought back by the Infernal Chains, but it's not quite enough to get anything done. DOS now stepping up. Exakick can do a little bit of damage, but Upset has the level advantage. Still a positive trade for SK, though. He's not able to find the root on the backside.
Good sidestep from Exakick on the knockup coming through from Targamas means that he doesn't fall prey to that. SK, though, with the attention on towards top side, move Nisqy down, so they will get Dragon, and forcing Karmine Corp away off this bot side. At this stage, I think Bo needs to actually just start up the Void Grubs, but there's a ward on the Void Grubs spotting out that he hasn't started, so I think that's why we're seeing a little bit of hesitancy from Exakick and DOS in this bot lane. Not sure if Bo is reset to try and make a play on the spot side or respond to any potential play SK makes here.
But a credit to DOS and Exakick and DOS especially there, because he's the one who kind of starts that trade-off. Despite Upset backing in theory with more gold, they know they're stronger in the burst trade because DOS does way more upfront damage than Rakan is ever going to do, and Exakick in a similar boat. So difficult for KC to fire back yet. It will get easier as more items are under Upset's belt and as level 6s get closer. But for now, DOS and Exakick running bot lane. At least keeping pressure. But will finally start the grubs here.
I mean, Targamas, you can't really walk up into DOS like this.
Hook onto Upset is key. Slow going down as well, but Exakick just focusing on Targamas. Really wants to proc those Blight stacks. Another root coming through. The Q not connecting is big. Could have been a massive chunk of Targamas' health.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see Targamas taking these very aggressive stance. Usually when you're playing in the support matchup in bot side, you want to try and, if you want to play defensive, match the same side as the AD carry, because it means that then if the other enemy support goes in, you immediately aggress onto the AD carry, and it makes it very difficult for the enemy AD carry to follow up. But if you match support and support, it's much more of an aggressive stance, and you just don't win that right now as Karmine Corp. So surprised with the way that Targamas is playing this bot.
Yeah. Maybe a little over-eager. Some of those circumstances is irrelevant. Being a bit more comfortable. Will flash out. Big thing about this matchup is, you know, Rumble going to focus on building the items he needs for team fighting. Aatrox gets to build Merc Treads into Hex Drinker if he wants to and become unkillable in the 1v1, even with the face of Ignite. So the actual lane might start to slowly shift in the favor of Irrelevant as he gets a few more levels and as he goes for what is a very cheap, effective item in terms of Hex Drinker.
And just try to keep Cabochard in check. Cabo will still be able to, as you see, clear out the waves relatively easily, though. Yeah. So it is just going to be a stalemate in this top side. And it's going to, or stalemate, I should even say. And I think Irrelevant is much more going to be a case of, hey, can we try and play for these big wombos with flanking opportunities for Irrelevant when it comes to team fights?
Yeah, and of course, Irrelevant does have the TP advantage in the sense that he has a summoner spell overall. Doesn't have the TP quite yet. So for Cabo, more diligence, talked about it with Jamada earlier in the day, really have to be on top of your wave control, have to be really disciplined around how you play around top when you go with a combat summoner instead of the TP. See if that hurts KC at all. Is Targamas again looking for a play? DOS and Isma already in the area, just going to knock down the Scuttle Crab. DOS level 6, a potential opportunity to get something done. Luckily, well, that thought is Irrelevant starting to burn. Boy. Nowhere to go. Cabo happy to just take a winning trade there, but cannot really follow up. Bow on the way. They might just look for the dive.
Big wave. Irrelevant needs to back up. Isma's trying to rush towards this top side, abandoning all of his bottom side camps to make sure he can be here, but Irrelevant going to lose a plate here at least anyway.
Yep, nice plate over to the side of Cabo. 1k gold advantage for the Rumble. Bow walking in. Instant coming out from Irrelevant. Wants the extra healing. No ulti, but it's not going to matter. So much damage now going in. Isma going to get cut down as well. Bow doing work. This topside 2v2 has so much damage. Look at him go. Bow and Cabo working together beautifully to force the play.
That's exactly how you want to try and play this. Get the early advantage onto the Rumble and then look to play the 2v2. It looks a bit desperate here from Bow, but he knows, look, as long as Irrelevant is out of the picture, that damage just isn't there. And Isma realizes well, but on the bot side, we're getting the engage. Featherstorm is out.
Featherstorm's out, but there's no pullback coming through from Upset. Presumably it already used the Blade Collar. You can see on the replay though, KC, of course, able to get both members out alive. Yamato feeling good.
The Karmine Corp chance starting to kick off as well here. Feeling at least a little bit more threatening now that you've got the Liandry's Torment completed on towards Cabochard. You can see the damage at the top side of your screen. Kind of insane at the moment from Cabo, but I think this is going to continue, right? And again, you are playing a composition where SK want to try and kite back, want to try and use the poke that they're going to have from Corki, from Rumble. And as long as you've got Cabochard who can toss down the ultimate over the top of them, slow their retreat, force an opportunity where Karmine Corp can engage, that can work out beautifully.
When Cabo's so ahead of the clock, he might even be able to just take people out with the ultimate at this stage of the game. And for Exakick, he has the cleanse. If he gets off the edge, he can mitigate some of the slow, he can flash out, but that's an immobile carry. Nisqy has the luxury of the Valkyrie. Exakick does not have that luxury. If he mispositions, if he's caught in a choke, Cabochard's just going to delete.
I think as well, SK have always been kind of, I won't say reliant, but definitely they have looked towards Irrelevant to slowly but surely have that control in the side lane. It's why when you look at his champions like Jax, the Gwen, I mean, even the Renekton to a certain extent, a huge amount of it is, hey, I will either scale into a point where I win side lanes or I will off-rip win side lanes.
Yep.
And they try and use that pressure when it comes towards playing at the map, getting on towards objectives. So I'm curious to see now with Irrelevant just being punished heavily by Karmine Corp. How do they try and approach these? Because you can see here, Nisqy on the reset, not going to be able to look at this next dragon. Isma is taking grubs to answer the 3 that have already been taken from Karmine Corp. So maybe he looks for topside play, but at this stage, I don't even know if you win in the 2v1.
One drag. Cabochard is going to run in and just try to one-shot Isma. It's looking good, and now Irrelevant's caught in the 1v1. Who's caught in with who, though? Nisqy finally coming up. Cabochard will just get cut down. Good to have the shutdown over to Nisqy.
Massive win for Nisqy. Already has that Hex Drinker that he's working on. He's kind of realized what side his bread is buttered on when it comes towards damage on Karmine Corp. So the shutdown going to help him get more of that goal back, and Saken just going to get some turret plays.
Casey get 2 plates, and it's a 1-for-1.
And some plates on bot side, but I will say shutdown helps out giving some gold in favor of SK, but definitely with Karmine Corp getting the plates, just going to answer back a little bit. So, I mean, it's kind of on Nisqy to make sure that he can make this gold work.
1.5k gold lead for KC. Ulti now coming out from Targamas. He's instantly going in. That's going to be massive on Exakick, waiting to pull the feathers back, though, taking just a little bit more time. Upset. Getting for DOS instead. But do they have the damage? He just can't finish a kill. He just must not have had the Blade Caller cooldown up and available at the start of the play.
I think it was mana. I think he just didn't quite have enough mana because it's 100 and just 100 there. I think it's like 60 or 70, maybe for the Blade Caller.
He used it on.
He was close.
No, because he used it on DOS. A few seconds. It must have been cooldown. It must have been cooldown. No, yeah, you're fine. I mean, it's a chaotic exchange, to be certain. For KC, I don't think they can follow up here. They're not strong enough to go under tower. DOS still has flash up. Good news is Upset has his flash. Exakick can be vulnerable in bow, rinsing and repeating. Isma can't walk up. Like, KC might not be able to dive, but Isma could be in trouble here. Knockup is there. Cabochard looking to follow. He does not have the equalizer quite yet.
You can even see Saken trying to match Nisqy to make sure he can't get up into the top side. Isma, where's the crash down? Irrelevant just trying to keep the wave off of the turret at the moment so they can't look for the dive. But I mean, nice job from Saken to match Nisqy on the play as well. And now Bo and Cabochard will just walk this one out. Upset and Targamas still putting pressure onto the spot side turret though.
And keep in mind, because of the previous play where we saw all that chaos around Isma taking the grubs, he didn't actually get any grubs. KC have gotten all 6. They have so much more pushing power when it comes into this mid game. If they're left unattended with the tower, they're going to knock it down, especially as plates fall away and those first towers become more vulnerable.
And if you end up leaving Cabochard in the lane against Irrelevant, Irrelevant just can't stand any of that pressure. Might even go down here.
And Corki needs more time. That's the reality, right? Maybe if you find an isolated target with DOS supporting you, you can find a kill. But in terms of teamfight output, Saken's just going to do more at this stage of the game if he can find a good ult.
Cabo's waiting though. Wants to try and make this pick happen just before the Rift Herald. They have no idea that he's in behind him, and DOS is caught!
DOS caught out, poke back into the wall, should be able to walk away. Relevant first on the run, but there's the equalizer right to the pinch. 2 flashes instantly to follow up, but Bo can just get chase. Cabo going in as well. KC finding the angle. They don't want to go for the dive quite yet, but an excellent pick, and KC continue to extend their gold lead 2k up at 14 minutes.
Upset though had roamed up towards mid lane to try and cover the push so they can go for the play, so looks like there will be a push on bot side. Isma going to find Upset, but it can't really go for the 1v1, or can he?
At least delay him, can at least get a little bit more pressure down on the bottom side. Red buff is there too. If he stays away from the feathers, he might be able to kill him. He needs another round of cooldowns before he can get anything else. Q not going to connect there, but meanwhile a dive on the top side of the map. Targamas there, but not enough to kill Irrelevant. Doesn't have really the damage of Bo to finish off the kill, and of course Cabo already used the equalizer in the previous play.
It does mean though you're trading a lot of damage onto both side towers. You can see bot lane tower going to fall here. Saken taking a lot of damage off Nisqy as they trade for position on top side. Rift Herald advantage means you should be able to equal this up, but DOS.
I mean, respectable attempt. Not going to work. And right now, again, KC in the driver's seat. Goal evens up here, though, but KC going to try to turn it right back around to Saken going in for the play. Knock up there, tower down. DOS now running. Excellent interrupt on the hook as the recall comes out from Bo. Just a little bit of BM.
Immediate pings from SK onto mid lane tower. They want to try and respond to it, but kills top side and then getting the tower as well. I imagine even off this reset, if they're quick enough, they can immediately move mid, throw down the Rift Herald and just take mid lane tower, although they may try and delay that for Dragons in 55 seconds. So it's kind of a case of how badly do KC want to try and get this mid lane turret down, because Nisqy will need to reset, can TP back into mid.
And crucial to try to even that up as well. And you can see this play very straightforward. I mean, you've already got Irrelevant low, Bo is there, so they have the damage, and DOS overconfident, I think, to step up.
A nice roam from Karmine.
Yeah. Definitely very solid. This feels like one of the cleanest, at least early games we've seen from KC. It's not incredibly over-aggressive. It's not just about individual outplays. It's you know, clean, controlled, methodical, continuing to stack up small advantages here. 2K gold lead is meaningful. 1-1 in the Drakes. Herald going to charge and break open mid, crucially. Or are they going to go for another? Bo's setting up. Looks like they want to go for it. This is kind of risky. Yeah, Bo's going to...
Bringing a bot.
Drift King.
He's got it, he's got it.
Tokyo Drift. What can he do? Right there. That's why you get a jungler like Bo on your team.
He can play AD carry, he can play jungle, he can play driving simulators.
KC fans are finally eating good. They've been starving.
Late food is still better than no food,
Yeah,
but we'll have
that's
to
true.
see if they can get it. Karmine Corp, though, this is a really great spot for them. You got complete control of the top side. You have Saken who's able to push in against the Aatrox. Corki, honestly, if you put him against Cabochard, probably going to be able to mitigate a lot of that push. So if you're Karmine Corp, you do want to try and match Cabochard into Irrelevant. Problem is Cabochard not having that teleport means it's going to be a little bit messy and trying to push outsides when it gets to this mid game. So I think it'll be on SK to see if they can find those moments where Exakick uses the fact you've got that Varus to push out mid, unlock the opportunity to look for picks in the enemy jungle, and then outnumber people with Irrelevance TP. You will probably have to sacrifice a side lane tower, like one of these tier 2s for it, but it's not the end of the world if you're able to get the tempo.
And you can see right now, because Corki is recalled, that Exakick's kind of forced away from the wave, but once SK have a bit more vision control and a bit more members in the mid lane, the range of the bars usually guarantees priority in mid, at least first push, first roam. But KC are so strong, they're just bullying their way into the jungle here.
Nisqy is no pushover though. 2.5 items now completed. He's actually in a good spot. I can see it.
Yep, about to complete the final item as well. Dashing out to safety again. Isma doing what he can to disengage the fight. Cabochard overheating, doesn't quite have the angle. Saken only going to ult one on the side of the fight. That is not what they needed. Exakick trying to find an angle with the arrows. Nisqy still standing. Bo wants to finish him off. Das still alive. Irrelevant, untouched in the fight. Can start to clean up. Huge shutdown for the side of SK. KC over-eager.
KC overextended, upset, ends up taking a ton of damage at the start of that fight, so he's completely forced out. And I think Saken's mind was, as long as I keep Irrelevant out, we win the 4v4, but they don't. And SK smelled blood in the water.
Irrelevant is one item, Rob. He's not useful. Nisqy, package is there. Malignance. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. They've got nowhere to go.
They're waiting for the wave. The wave is a long way off, though, and Upset trying to get up towards this top side. They now cut it. They go for the play.
Unstoppable now. Cabochard just caught in, and he flashes, and he still goes down. Targamas as well. It's 2-damn clean. Exakick now looking to follow up on a second. He doesn't quite have the damage. Upset can come back to the top side, but he can't approach the tower.
Oh, it's heartbreaking for Karmine Corp. They thought they were going to a Michelin star restaurant. They were going to get all this lovely food. It was going to be great. And it's one of those where it's like, oh yeah, this is our flavored air. There is nothing here. And Karmine Corp are forced back once again. SK resounding response on every play that Karmine Corp tried to make on this top side now.
And if Nisqy wasn't a problem before, he's a problem now.
I mean, this is just great from SK. Nisqy, Greiner is trying to cut the wave, and it's the second Karmine Corp all put themselves into this little corridor over here. It's just a great lineup here for Nisqy to go in. And you can see that they're just trying to stay away from everyone, but it just means Nisqy goes, cool, I've got the package. You're immediately caught between the tower. Isma tanks it up.
Targamas with the W. It's tough. I don't think there's the right answer there. I think you probably die regardless. I think the best you can hope for KC is taking one out with you or getting one more member out overall. Of course, tomorrow, don't forget, the Battle of Top 8 decided a single matchup. Giant X versus Rogue. 1700 CET. As we continue back to this matchup, the gold is now dead even. SK have gotten themselves out of the difficult position. Irrelevant is once again relevant. He has a little bit of MR and will be a bit more of a threat, especially now that he's level 13. Still think Cabo is scarier, but he's crawled at least a little bit out of the hole.
I'm kind of surprised to see the Void Staff from him. Crypt Bloom has just become such a massive pickup for so many people because you get the ability haste.
I agree.
And the healing is just super nice. And I think when you're going to be taking so much poke from Nisqy and Exakick, I think having that little bit of a extra heal off of the initial kill in team fights would actually do a lot for Karmine Corp.
The one thing I will say is their double Hex Drinker on the opposite side already as Saken turns into a minion! Love that interaction, the instant turn and burn, baby, that's some clean Neeko understanding. Targamas now immediately going to follow up, and Bo combo is so damn strong. Nisqy trying to do a bit more damage with the poke. Upset now following up. That's right, baby. You hold on to that melee minion. That Varus puts all, and you say, not today, baby.
That was sick from Saken. And Exakick completely caught out as a result. And now, that's Baron. Karmine Corp, TP in. Dragon is up in 30 seconds, but I mean, you can't even trade it as SK. This is just gone for Karmine Corp.
Isma waiting in the darkness. Targamas has to be a little bit careful here because Nisqy coming around the corner could be a problem. Is Bo ready to go over the wall here? What tools are they willing to use to stop Isma from getting into the pit? Casey, will it be Heartbreak once again, or can you secure the objective? They go over the wall, they look to burn down Isma, they've got so much damage, he's ulting now, he just has to run, he's ignited, he's ticking. Will he fall? Bo on the follow-up is just gonna knock him out. But the objective,
he can't get over the wall.
There's no one in the pit, there's no one in the pit. Can they just finish the Baron? KC, get the Baron! And it looks like they're gonna make it out. All 5 members stand strong, but they're going back. Why are they going back? They want to kill Irrelevant. They think they have the edge in the fight. This is such a risk. Casey, they're hungry for more. Irrelevant just continues to step forward and gets the kill in the midst of the fight. Saken! Saken is coming! Casey! You are insane! You are insane, but you make it work!
They're willing to risk it all. And they manage to pull off the heist. They get the Baron, they get the kills, and crucially, because they've shut back SK, they will also now be able to turn over towards this Dragon as well, which should have gone to SK.
Yeah, that probably should have been the trade, but it is absolutely not. Yes! Yes! Oh, it's such a disgusting interaction. I've been waiting to see somebody do it. Yeah, that's, I don't know if it's balanced or not. I'm not going to pass that judgment call, but it's sick. That's what I will say.
And it catches out DOS, it catches out Exakick, who thought they'd made the pick. And then after it as well, the follow-up fight, just an absolute disaster. I mean, they turn on towards Isma, who just gets burnt down. And here I was starting to get a little bit worried. SK are coming, Poe is low, nobody in the pit, but the wind becomes lightning to get over the wall. It is massive here, so just gets the smite. And then Irrelevant goes over. He knows that he still has the flash to try and get back out over the wall. But Karmine Corp kind of go, hang on a second, we can actually go for this, because you don't have an awful lot of people who can step forward. DOS landing that hook into the Skull Crab as well means that that's the engage tool realistically dead. So Karmine Corp are fine to go in. Bo realizes he has the damage as well, thanks to that ultimate keeping him safe from Nisqy damage, and now ultimate under tower.
Ulti to push SK away from the tower. Not a lot of chunk, just a little bit on the Exakick, so KC might not be able to push for one more. 6 Void grubs that they grabbed earlier in the game paying off here as they continue pretty aggressive push with the power of Baron. All members recalling though with only a minute left on the buff means it's very unlikely that they will get anything else. KC, 4K lead, 3 Drakes. They are very much in control of this game. Cabo has to be careful about stepping this far forward though. I don't think SK are going to get too aggressive because they don't have the information they need, but that was a bit of a risky movement.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to try and cut the wave. We'll get a ward down, but yeah, I'm glad he didn't actually try and go for the wave immediately. We'll just back it up, but at the moment, the starter was a bit of a whiff, but the main course for Karmine Corp is here, and it's looking pretty good as long as they can keep the push here, move over towards this top side as well, to work with Cabochard to get down the outer turret. I think they're going to be fine. Baroned up creeps, they'll take mid turret, and Cabo play slow on that top wave perfectly to make sure that you can still keep control, but I think you need people mid here for Karmine Corp to actually pressure the tower, which isn't really happening.
Saken looking for a bit of a fake out. Upset, actual upset spotted in the mid lane, as he is using abilities to push the wave. There shouldn't be much of a fake out there.
There you go. So Karmine Corp now, all group on the mid. They'll be able to push this down.
Nice.
They push in the wave, and then you immediately rotate the top side off the wave that's about to come in. But they're
Isma looking for the setup. Bo getting chunked, but not nearly fast enough. That's ulti out from Exa. Immediate ult from Bo to make sure the follow-up damage cannot come through and those light sacks cannot get procced. Nisqy just continuing to poke. Frustrating for KC to be poked out, but not too threatening yet.
I think Karmine Corp are too interested in the fights though. I think you can just play off of your wave states to go, hey, we can start to put pressure on towards mid, force STK back into their base, and then start to group up on the top wave, and just start looking for towers off of the Baron rather than trying to find the kills. It kind of felt like they were going for the fatality there rather than just taking it a bit more of a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes. It's hitting me, Rob.
It's all good, don't worry.
It's hitting me hard. I'm remembering. My body's remembering. Even if my brain doesn't, that it is game 5 here. But it is a fantastic game from KC, I gotta say. 5K gold lead. Great call around the Baron. Well played. a little bit psycho, a little over-eager maybe. But now Bo stepping in, covering for Saken here. Knockup is there. Irrelevant could be in trouble. But I think it might be Bo who's overstepped. Irrelevant goes in for Q3. The sidestep now coming in. That's big. Now Bo just turns to the next target. Saken still standing. Nisqy locked up on the backside. Bo going over the wall. He just does not quit. But he is going to give his life in the exchange, surely. No, yes, finally. Nisqy charmed in the midst of it all. Feathers fly. Feathers pull right back. Doss now locked up. Upset locked on the backside. A beautiful equalizer. Hitting on to 3. KC tearing SK apart. Punishing them for setting foot in their jungle. It's a TP. And this might be it, Rob.
This is the moment for Karmine Corp. Exakick will fall. The wave is there. The towers will fall. And the Karmine Corp crowd is coming alive.
Oh, some will say too little. Some will say too late. But a win is a win. KC in week 3, day 2. Against SK, one of the top teams in the league, will knock down their first Nexus. They will find their win, and hope will spring anew for the spring split.
Karmine Corp find their win in winter. An incredible performance, honestly. Like, great call to player in topside. Controlled the early stage of the game, and there was 1 or 2 hiccups. Even that last fight, I was questioning, because you could see Cabochard in topside wasn't able to get the TP down because he was running the Ignite, but they managed to play it out, and Karmine Corp pick up the win.
And while it will be a little bit bittersweet, I'm pleased to see all these KC fans in-house rewarded for their faith. Player of the game, LEC on X, Cabochard, Bo, Targamas, all great options.
I mean, this topside, incredible stuff. So glad to see Cabochard and Bo kind of taking over that early stages, having the roams coming through. It looked really good from the get-go.
Yeah, solid overall. I think while SK had some good ideas, you know, KC finally kind of in a position with champions to really set up, to really take over. Maybe overconfident, I think, to pick the Aatrox based on what we saw. Don't want to focus too much just on this single game, obviously. But for KC, again, bittersweet optimism. Maybe starting to come up for the KC fans, feeling like spring could be a different story here when they're taking games off a team like SK, who's fighting for top 2 in the league.
And it's not like SK were mucking about and not taking it seriously. You can see from draft, you can see from the way they were playing, seeing from the opportunities they were trying to take to find those moments to play 4 versus 5, but they just couldn't quite get it. And I think good call from Karmine Corp to close this one out.
Absolutely, and I appreciate them for it. I certainly do.
You're there. You made it. You did it.
Yep, I did. There were moments away. Seems like we are ready. So let's do it. We've talked enough. Let's send it down for the first winners interview with none other than Saken.
All right. Félicitations pour votre première victoire ici à LEC. Congratulations for your first win here at the LEC. I mean, just listen to them. They have been here week in, week out. So how does it feel to finally give the fans a reason to keep on cheering, to keep on shouting, to keep on coming here?
It feels really good to actually win finally against with them in the crowd. I think the 2 first weeks were really hard for us. Even though we won today, the split is still like a disaster for us, I think, for every one of us. But yeah, it feels still good to win a game at least. It will help us in the future for sure. And for the fan, it will help them, I think, to handle all our defeats.
They're still here, they're still cheering for you and the fans, you've mentioned them, but is there anything you want to say to them directly?
Sorry, at first. I think sorry for the split. And thank you for all your support, guys. It's crazy, so thank you.
Their support has been unmatched over the last couple of weeks, and you said it yourself, it's been a difficult road to get here, but you get that one win on the board, you get that score, you get started. What has been the main takeaway from the game today, from getting that win under your belt?
I think we just play more loose, I think, on everyone. Cabo did a really good job on his own, and I think we trusted each other way more today. And yeah, that's cool to win.
How did you build that trust over time as a team together?
I think it's really hard to build trust since we are losing. We went 2 weeks losing, and losing, but we still trust in each other, and we all want to win, right? So in the end, we just have to click in game and take it.
Well, clicking in game you did, so that's why you're here. And tomorrow you have another match to look forward to. What is the mentality? What is the way that you're going to be approaching that one?
I think we just want to prove ourselves, everyone in the team. So we are just gonna play like today. We have nothing to lose, right? So we are just gonna go in and take the win, hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, the fact that you have nothing to lose, do you think that also takes off the pressure? It makes it more easier to just like, okay, guys, we're gonna go straight in?
Yeah, for sure. It's way easier to play, I think, now, sadly. But yeah, it feels easier, yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time for the interview. And once again, congratulations. Encore une fois, pour Karmine Corp. Thank you. That's all from us here at the LEC. But don't you worry, because the LCS over across the pond has Emily Rand, who has something very special cooked for us. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We'll see you tomorrow.
One big Udyr your shield. Oh no!
Heretics really want to try and start to force plays, right? You've got,
And they're starting to force already. That's level 6 for Photon.
Oh,
Knock him down.
Works untouched. Oh, the Akali damage. FLICKR still staying alive for so long with the dual carries. Corsi, VGO, back to back. Hillsang supporting.
They can't kill them.
Used to go down. Vitality.
Flash out to safety. Had already procced the phase rush.
Oh,
he has so much.
Oh no!
He's gonna get it. Kill him. Shut him down. He's dead.
Yeah, I'm looking Corki. Yeah. Nice. Go Draven. No! That was jump scare. Hook came from Fox when I was 6 last week.
Does not win. Vaultbreaker will just barely take him out of safety. Joining the area, but Caps dashing in at the last moment. The 5-point strike, a 1-kill strike.
I can ulti Varus, yeah? No. Look, Varus. Nice. Varus dead. Keep fighting. Look at me. They're fighting top. Nice. Get Dragons. Check it. Penta. Look, I'm going. Penta. Guys, just time it. One guy mid. Let me. Penta. Nice.
Friskawi is there just in the nick of time, and I don't think they can heal. Look at it, let's go!
I go Fiddle.
I have chain. Fiddle it.
I think it's finished.
Just hit anyone, guys.
Go. Kill them all.
Get him out, he just needs to get into the bush. Apotheosis coming in, he's trying to heal as much as he possibly can, but Patrick is tearing through the entire team. Neela finally unleashed on the backside. Jackie's doing work onto Friskawi and Giant X.
I'm coming mid. No ult, Varus. No flash.
No flash, no flash.
Wait, kill him. He heals everything. I'm looking captain. I'm looking.
Varus is dead.
Res KC, they're hovering for more. Relevant just continues to step forward against the kill in the midst of the fight. Saken is coming. KC, you are insane. You are insane, but you make it work.